Nets Kingdom.
Fuck that house mob. I'm back. To the top, I'ma make it. Niggas just can't take it. To the top, I'ma make 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 it. Niggas just can't take it.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy AJ. I'm here with Cypher. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at NetsKingdom1. Follow us on Twitter. All our Twitters are scrolling at the bottom. And don't forget to check out articles. Cypher's writing good articles on netskingdom.net. Check those out. So, a lot to talk about, man. We're gonna, we just coming off a really, really good win against the Miami Heat, or if you're a Tank fan, a bad win. And then we're going to talk about Ben Simmons is officially a free agent. We're free of Ben. So we're going to talk about that, the Ben Simmons. And then, we'll talk about the trade deadline, the last minute, who's the winners and the losers. So we'll get into all of that. So first, let's talk about this game. So we just defeated the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat coming off a trade deadline. They were missing Wiggins and I think Anderson is the guys that got back. So, but it was a fully loaded Heat team. It was Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo, Khalil Ware was there. So starting, like, my official reaction to this game was just, we started off kind of back and forth. The Heat, it was like a back and forth game. The Heat would go on a run, then we would on a 15-3 run. They would go on a run. So it was kind of like the game of runs. We'll call it a game of runs, but at halftime it was 53-53. What did you notice, Syph, in that first half that kind of stood out to you? Why did the Nets were able to stay in the game in this first half? What did you see?
Well, I mean, the effort was just phenomenal.
Yeah.
These guys were trying. Like, I believe they out-rebounded them for the whole game.
Yeah.
Season high, 57 rebounds.
Yeah.
Offensively, like, if you look at the box score, like, the only player in the first half who scored above double figures was Cam Johnson with 11 points.
Yeah, I remember that.
So this was really a defensive-minded game. Like, everyone was locked in. Claxton defensively, not too great in the first quarter. Allowed, I believe, 3 straight lobs in a row. The off-ball would just run to Tyler Hero whenever he would drive into the paint.
Yeah.
But second quarter really cleaned that up. Like, him and Daron, like, they were more of a force under the rim, doing a good job guarding, prevented less lobs, contesting shots.
Yeah. And
just the ball handle. Like, Keon Johnson did a very good job on Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
D'Lo was holding his own. It was just a good collaborative team effort.
Yeah. Because when we made that late fourth quarter run, I think third quarter was a really big quarter for Clax because Clax really locked in defensively, and then we got into a lot of runs. Like, he made a lot of good blocks, like just stopping the possessions, and then us turning those turnovers into points. So I feel like that led to, and then again, CJ was having a good shooting night from the beginning. I think he was 2 for 4 at halftime, and then the third quarter he just started getting more into his groove, into his midi. And everybody kind of just fell along once he went into that run. Fourth quarter run, I was just like, damn, this team is starting to gel. I mean, defensively, I think we've been a low-key good defensive team throughout the whole season. It's just that when we play teams, it's just like we get outscored because of their talent versus our talent, right? Am I wrong? Like,
oh yeah, no, I agree. Like, the defense. Yeah. If you look at the defensive rating, not on I don't know at the top of my head, I believe it's bottom 5 for the league.
Yeah.
That defensive rating does not reflect the eye test.
Yeah.
Like, these guys are picking up full court all the time. They're pressuring ball handlers. Mm-hmm. They were just they're trying so hard. Like, they're diving for loose balls. They're boxing out. They're just doing everything. Like, at the end of the day, like, if somebody scores on them, it's just because they're that much better than us. And it has nothing to do with the effort or the scheme.
Yeah, like, we held the Heat tonight, and the final score was 102-86. Holding the Heat to 86 in today's modern NBA is actually really, really good. This is not a bad Heat team. This is a good Heat team that's around 7 or 8 seed. Coach Spoelstra is a great coach. Coach Jordy was he just outcoached him today. I mean, CJ had 18, D'Lo 17, Clax. I want to talk about Clax: 12 points, 10 rebounds, 2 steals, 4 blocks. So really good. Trendon Watford,
one of his best games as of late. Like, he really needed this because this season as a whole, and I'm
Yeah.
not holding it against him because it's a tanking year.
Yeah.
Claxton has not been good.
Yeah.
Like all his per 36 numbers are down. Even defensively, he's like shit. He's taking a break.
Yeah.
But tonight reminded you how good Claxton could really be.
Yeah, this brought me back to like, okay, this is looking like, little flashes, glimpses of a 22, 23 Clax. And there's a lot of Nuts fans that wanted to trade him at the deadline, trade him. That's all we heard. But like, this kind of reminded me like, damn, maybe we should at least wait a little bit for like, let's get a good point guard. Let's get a little better pieces around Clax to help him out or to make him better. Because, you just see the glimpses and you're like, damn, there's so much potential. He's 25. Watford was big tonight too. I think he helped that fourth quarter run. He took control, the pace he had set as the lead ball handler and just getting to the rim. But
Before he got benched in the last couple minutes for D'Lo, I believe.
Yeah,
he was like taking charge.
Yeah,
like,
he was.
He's just so, and I really like this about Watford. Like he is a big, strong body.
Yeah,
he was just driving into the paint, using his physicality, getting to the rim. He had one play where it was it was supposed to be a handoff. He fakes it, does a spin move to the rim, and it just looks so good.
He's just a big guard. Like he's one of the players I want to keep for the rebuild. Like I want the Nets to, because he's a free agent next year. I want the Nets to keep him. He's one of the players I wouldn't mind keeping him, Zaire, and that's probably about it. Like that's who I want to stay on this team after, because these guys are all going to be gone. Those are the two guys I really would want them to stay, because it just turn them off for just a big guard that can play make, distribute the ball, and get to the rim. And then Zaire is just a great perimeter defender, point of attack, and he can occasionally shoot. I'm not saying he's a shooter, but he can occasionally shoot the three. So next topic, Ben Simmons. So today we got the breaking news that Ben Simmons is a free agent. He officially finalized to buy out. The Nets bought him out today, and now he's looking at the Cavs, I think Houston, and the Clippers, because he's only eligible to sign with teams that are not in the apron. So there's only a limited amount of teams that could really sign him right now. But what was your first reaction? I guess reflect to be safe about the Ben Simmons era, and also talk about, because the fans who are going to click on this video are going to be like Clippers fans, Cavs fans, and Thunder, or whatever, not Thunder, Houston fans. They're going to wonder like, can Ben help us? So talk about your experience of the Ben Simmons era.
Okay, I'll start off with the positive.
Yeah.
Credit. Okay, going into the season, myself and many others believe that Ben Simmons will not get bought out.
Yeah.
Because in order to agree to a buyout, you would have to take less money.
Yeah.
And you would not take less money unless another team determined your worth of that minimum.
Yeah.
And so credit to him. I believe Ben Simmons had a plus minus of 5.8 per 100 on off.
Yeah.
And look, that isn't reflective of him being a good player. It's just reflective of the fact that this team did not have good players coming off the bench to replace him.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, Simmons, look, I believe he averaged 6, and 7 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And look, those numbers offensively, look, we know Simmons is afraid of scoring.
Yeah.
He'll occasionally go to the rim every now and then, but it's not his first option. He could rebound, he could switch defense, in his playmaking. It's still elite. It's still among the best in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that alone will have value. Because if you need a backup or a third string big that could handle the ball, or bring the ball to the court, generate shots for other players, rebound, and not give up that much size, like Simmons does have value. Like I think the Cavs legitimately could use him.
Yeah. I think the best option would be the Cavs, because they don't really need his offense, and they're actually really good defensively. Like they could put up lineups like when they want to go small. You could put Evan Mobley. I mean, you could put Evan Mobley at the 4 and Ben at the 5. This way, you still have Ben to guard these perimeter guys, because he's decent at guarding perimeter defenders. I mean, he's not like he was when he was on Philly. I'll get that straight. Like whoever's watching this video, he's not the elite defensive player he was on Philly, but he can still guard. Like he's a minimal guy. Like he still can guard those guys, and he's still a decent defender. He's gonna, and as far as playmaking, Ben is I've said this before we even got him, and even when he was those years where he would play like 5 games, he always had a game every year. We had him for 3 years. every year he always had a game where Ben would just shock me of how good a passer he is. He has that gift, that God-given gift of just seeing the play before it happens, similar to like LaMelo, Luka, all these guys, seeing the play before it happens and just making crisp, amazing dimes, passes, just hitting guys right in their shooting pockets to score. Like he's really, really good at that. So if you could use that and harness that, and you don't need his scoring and you don't really need him to be, I guess, a really rebounding guy, that's where you can use Ben Simmons' skill set. Now, it's risky because you don't know how like sometimes his back flares up, right? His back flares up and he could be out for 10 games. So you don't know. That's the risky part of the team that's going to sign him. But if he is held, like this is his best Nets season, this is his best season he's had with us this year. I only think this year is the best season because he's playing for a contract and he's playing for basically the NBA to keep him. He wants his NBA career to keep going, so he's gonna play. I think he made it a mission this year. It's like, yo, I gotta win. We saw him call out Sean and the organization, like, I want to win, I want to play hard, I want to do everything I can. Let me go. So I think he fell into that point, and he's like, you know what? Let me go and find a contender so I can, ride the wave of a winning team and actually contribute to a winning team because he knows this team is tanking. But anything else on Ben, bro? Like any last, like I said, it's just been a crazy wild ride with Ben, bro. It's been
one thing. Look, Ben Simmons' tenure as a Net was a failure.
Mm-hmm.
It just was. And look, I don't want to be mean to the guy because I don't think he's a bad person, and I don't think it was his fault. Mm-hmm. And look, I'm glad Nets Daily did clear this up because apparently the Nets knew he was that hurt.
Yeah.
They knew he was that hurt, and they just didn't care. And so, look, that's just on the organization. Like, they should not have traded for an injured player.
Yeah.
And look, it just the expectations were really high. We traded for him with the intention of being the third best player on a championship team next to Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And it just did not work out, as we all know. And then the following season, he was dealing with injuries, didn't play much. And this year, finally healthy, but he is not the same player. Just looks less athletic, a little bit slower on defense. The rim problems are still there.
Yeah.
Shooting problems are still there. And look, I hope he's fine. I hope he has good luck to his next team. But at the end of the day, the Ben Simmons, I'm not going to put it really on him. It's an organizational failure.
Yeah. I won't be that hater because I'll be the hater guy. I'll be the contrarian. Mm-hmm. I will forever hate Ben Simmons. Well, first of all, I'm with you. I'm going to blame Sean for doing this move because I feel like we were talking about this Justin Spaces. He was pushed. Morey boxed him in and bullied him into taking Ben Simmons for Harden where he didn't have to. You didn't have to take him. You didn't have to waive those physicals, taking injured players. I blame Sean Marks for putting Ben Simmons on his team. Ben Simmons as a person, I think he's a cool guy, but it's like, I'll forever hate you because when we needed you the most, you went ghost. When we needed you the most, you didn't have the work ethic. When we needed you the most, you made it to seem like fans, like you didn't really care about us, didn't really care. You seemed disinterested, you felt more interested in showing off your modeling and your pictures, your fancy outfits. I feel like it's just that aura he had. It just felt like a cocky aura. Like I didn't really like that as a fan, you know what I'm saying? Like, because we needed you out there, bro. We needed you and you didn't show up for us. But then now when we don't need you and you're tanking, this is when you're having the best Nets, your best, not your career season, but, I'm talking about your best Nets tenure, like your best year in the Nets tenure. It's like, I'll forever hate you because you weren't there when you needed us. And now when you don't need you, now you want to go. Now you want to get bought out. So it's like, I will forever hate him, but we'll see what happens in his career. Like if you're a Cavs fan and Clippers fan watching this, you guys may be able to use him, but I'm just saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Make sure that it's a minimum contract and make sure you can terminate him immediately because this man is not trustworthy. He's not trustworthy. Last thing I want to get to the trade deadline, man. The winners and losers of the trade deadline. You want to go first about this? Who are your winners and losers? What surprised? I mean, I know we already know what surprised you the most, but just who do you think won the trade deadline?
Oh, the Lakers. The
Yeah.
Lakers. Of course, it's the Lakers. It is
Mm.
okay. Winners, Lakers. Biggest losers, the Mavericks. It's pretty obvious. Look,
Okay.
that trade is so insane. It is so insane. Like, in the more details you find out about it, because Luka Doncic did not request a trade.
Yeah.
He did not request a trade. He didn't ask out. He showed no indication of not signing the Supermax. It just a man, Nico Harrison, and he will go down as the worst GM in NBA history for this. I'm confident in saying that.
Yeah.
Went behind everyone's back, hid it from the fans, hand-picked the Lakers.
Yeah.
And he has this, and he has a vision.
Mhm.
He thinks Anthony Davis. Look, the whole I want players that play both ends. No, you don't trade away an MVP caliber player in his prime. You don't go behind his back. You don't have a bidding war for him. You didn't have a bidding war for him. It is the worst decision in NBA history and sports history. And it is okay. They're the biggest losers. Winners, Lakers. You got an MVP in his prime for aging Anthony Davis and a first-round pick and Max Christie, which is no disrespect to AD, but compared to Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis looks like Hassan Whiteside.
Yeah. For me, I think obviously I think the Lakers, but I think a hard second has to be the Cavaliers, because getting DeAndre Hunter was a sneaky, really, really, really good move, because you get a guy that's shooting pretty well from three. I think he's shooting around 40. Great point of attack defender, and he's another guy who can get his own shot. They needed a guy like that to add to. They need like a strong wing like that. We always talked about the Cavs, like they need a good wing. They need a wing. They need a wing. They finally got that wing, and I think that's going to make them a lot. They're already good because they're already top of the East. So that addition is just, I feel like, really underrated for them. When I say biggest losers, I could say, I mean, how do you feel about some people are calling the Kings a little bit of big losers, but they still got Zach LaVine and Jonas. So it's like, how do you feel about the Kings?
I would say they lost. Yeah.
One of the losers, right? People are calling them Chicago Bulls West. Chicago Bulls West.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we saw Chicago run the LaVine and DeRozan experiment for a couple of years.
Yeah.
That is a play-in in the East at best. That is not making the play-in in the West.
Yeah.
And look,
go ahead.
The Fox thing, look, it really does suck for the Kings, because they drafted him. They made all these decisions. They fired Mike Brown. They traded Tyrese Halliburton over him to build around him. And he technically didn't request a trade.
Yeah.
But he did it without saying it. Like, he said, hey, I'm not signing the extension, and I want to go to this team. Yeah. And he made it very clear, and that prevented the Kings from getting good assets back.
Yeah.
And you could make the argument that the Kings should have, held strong and demanded, one of the Hawks picks, but at the end of the day, they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I said, on paper, I thought Zach LaVine looked like a good move to me, because just on paper, I saw his numbers, and then I saw the Jonas move. They didn't really have to give that much to get Jonas. So I'm like, okay, you got a backup big, and you got Zach LaVine to replace Fox. But then I watched them, Zach LaVine, and then they lost by 30. I'm like, oh wait, this might have not been a good move. So I guess you could name the Kings. I guess Kings fans are gonna watch this and be like, no, we still. But I think you guys have to go down as one of the losers of this trade deadline. Winners, I definitely have the Lakers, Cavs, and I want to put Spurs in that winner category too. Spurs did a really good job giving. Basically, they didn't really give up that much to get Fox. They barely give up anything. They didn't give up anything to get Fox. You got to give them a win for that. You got an all-star in De'Aaron Fox for basically, I don't know what I forgot what the package was, but just
salary filler and a couple of one first
bad picks and two firsts and salary filler, and the first are not even that good, right?
Well, okay, 2027 Spurs, I don't expect that to be good.
Yeah.
The one first that they got that I consider a value is the 2031 Minnesota pick.
Okay, they got that.
Yeah. That's who knows if Anthony Edwards is even on the team at that point.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, like I said, that's still decent value for De'Aaron Fox, because in the old NBA before the CBA, we all know De'Aaron Fox would have probably been three good first and good role players with that. So yeah, I think I definitely give the Spurs a win. But yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. All our Twitters are scrolling at the bottom. Hit that Instagram, Nets Kingdom 1. Tell us how you feel in the comments. How you feel about Ben Simmons? I know there's gonna be a lot of comments like F Ben Simmons and y'all hate Ben Simmons. Good riddance. Let us know if you feel bad for Ben or you just like thankful that he's gone. Tell us what your thoughts on the latest trade deadline. I mean, tell us who won. Who are your winners and losers? Let us know in the comments. And then make sure you guys check out netskingdom.net for all those articles. And I appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back.